My name is Chip Kinzler, and I own a company here in Nampa called Kinzler Builders and Development. I build custom homes. I've been building for about 20 years. You have to start with a solid square foundation to make everything else in the house fit properly and to work as a unit that it's supposed to work as. When you have a foundation that's solid, everything that you builds upon that. And when you have a crumbling foundation, when you try to build on that, the parts that are being built on top of that crumbling foundation are going to crumble as well in time. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen when there's adversity in that structure. When that structure is taking on different types of weather, and if the earth moves just a little bit and the house settles, if you have a strong foundation, that strong foundation is going to hold that house up to that settling. But if you have a weak foundation, you're going to have cracking throughout the entire house. And we all know that there is adversity in everything that we do, and that comes along with construction, that comes along with every job that a person would have. And we have to build the base strong. It's critical to have the foundation square from the time that it's poured, because once concrete is poured, it is solid, and the only way to change it is to tear it out and redo it. So if the foundation is not square and the framers start to frame on it, they can fudge just a little bit to try to square that up. But what happens is you get the walls on top of the floor and it's not square, and then you try to set the doors and the windows in something that's not square, and nothing works quite right. You can get by, but getting by in construction is just not my forte. We want it to be square from the get-go, from the very beginning, so when we build on it, everything is lined up and all the parts and the pieces of the house go together smoothly. It will go from an unsquare foundation to an unsquare floor to an unsquare room to an unsquare roof system on your house, and it just multiplies as you go. So the further you get in the process, the worse it gets because the foundation was out of square. It's so critical to get that just right at the beginning. Well, you could use the analogy of how much do you have to peel back to get to the root of the problem? And the root of the problem is really the foundation. And to get that house to be right, even though it's built already on an unsquare foundation, you have to go all the way back down to the foundation if you want to build it square. So once you have an unsquare foundation, it's impossible to take that and make it square without going all the way to the root and fixing it from the bottom up. And the further you get along in the process, the more costly it gets. If you put a foundation in, and for some reason the contractor that was putting the foundation in didn't do a square job, the cheapest time to ever fix that foundation is right then and there. If you figure out that foundation is out of square before you do anything else on it, that's the time that you just want to tear it out and start over. If you build the floor and you build the walls and you build the roof on top of that, you're compounding every part of the construction onto that unsquare foundation. And if you want to take that apart one piece at a time, from the roof to the walls to the floor down to the foundation, it's compounded just like any problem. The further you get from the source, the bigger the problem is going to be.